Hi everyone. I want to talk to you about the changes that I am trying to work on so I can try my best to be a better person in society. I've been dealing with many challenges in the past, including currently. The challenges that I struggle the most is with my disability, which is autism, including a learning disability, along with a kind of disability. Having it is a challenge for me because I struggle on comprehending on learning different advanced subjects. Sometimes I struggle to figure out how to communicate my thoughts in different social settings, including on social media platforms or conversations or phone calls, and I struggle with understanding some social cues. Another thing to add is I struggle with my disability is when other people, including some of my friends, people who I know, or other people bully me or put me down for struggling with a disability, or if I can't meet their standards, or if I'm different from other people. I have always struggled with maintaining and keeping friendships in the past and currently. I've been dealing where I get bullied by some of my friends for struggling with my disability or if I can't meet their standards. There are many times where peers of my friends encourage my own friends to tease me or bully me, especially put me down. I've had challenges where I get blamed when they are struggling, where they blame me as if it is my fault that they aren't doing too well, or they make me feel bad just because I'm different interests or hobbies from them. Also, I struggle on trying to have good conversations with people because sometimes I can't understand different topics or understand what they are saying. When I deal with the meanness from other people, especially from some of my friends, I try to think to myself, what did I do wrong to make some of my friends or people get mean at me? And many other questions. I do a lot of self reflecting and thinking to myself. I realize there are some things that are wrong with me. For example, there are times where I struggle on trying to be upbeat when I'm with other people, when I struggle with my disability, or when I have different challenges in life that I can't control, where it can cause other people to get mad at me. There are times that maybe I message or contact people too much because sometimes I just want to have a conversation or to find time to hang out, or if I'm trying my hardest to maintain the friendships or trying to make sure the friendships don't break apart. Maybe I don't have the right communication skills on how to connect with people in a certain way. Maybe it's because of how I speak. Maybe it's because that maybe I can't understand how to talk about a subject when other people can easily talk about it. Inside of myself, I try to visualize as much as I can on what does it mean to be a good friend and a good person to other people. When I think of this thing, I try to tell myself that how I just want to be a good person and to present myself as a good friend or as a good person as I want to be kind to other people, be compassionate along with understanding when people have struggles in life or when they make achievements. I'm always thinking of good thoughts, including positive vibes, for many people who are having challenges or if they're trying to do good things in life. Also, as a good person or as a good friend, I really want to try my hardest to use critical thinking skills to read people's personalities or their body language to help me understand people better. I work on doing the best as I can to be a good listener to people and many others. I know that these things sound like it means to be a good friend or a good person, but most of the time it doesn't work that well because sometimes many people don't want to be appreciative of this fundamental principle of being a good friend or being a good person. Also, with my disability, I have challenges. some challenges on these things that I can't do well than other people. For example, I can't do well on rides on roller coasters or rides that make me dizzy because I get sick. But when other people can do them, they easily get judgmental on me and put me down for just because I get sick on one of these rides. Also, there are situations too, many people who who I know them or some of my friends want me to rely on them wanting me to listen to them talk, but they don't want to listen to me back. There are times where they tell me to shut up or tell me that my job as a friend to them is to listen to them and that they're not interested in having two-way conversations. It is hard to do this most of the times because I try to be creative on how I talk a little bit about myself while trying to have a balance of listening to them. I try to say phrases like, I want to change the subject, or trying to have them a good conversation or ask me questions. In these situations, all I can simply just do is try my hardest to listen to what they are saying very carefully. Sometimes, even if I can't understand what they're saying, and I would say, can you repeat or if can you clarify what you said? I also try the best as I can to express my thoughts of positive vibes and reassurance to many of them when they have challenges in life or if they struggle or if they make some achievements. I have been going through changes where I have changed myself. I have to give up on friendships and maintain them because it didn't work as well as I hoped. I've dealt with many of my friends, or some of my friends, or people in general, where they would get mad at me for struggling with my disability, or if I can't meet their standards, or if they didn't want to be better understanding of me as a human being who wants to try to do good things. I keep myself separate from friends and people most of the time. I see them as acquaintances where I kind of know them, but I don't interact with them too much. I do this as a way to make me feel safe because I am scared of being bullied or being put down, or if I feel like I'm going to make mistakes, where I try my hardest to be a good friend or a good person to many people. When I spend time away from being around people or pausing from having friends, I spend time praying that I hope that many people will have the audacity to be compassionate and understanding of people who want to do good things, or to be appreciative for me for trying my best to be a good friend or a good person to them. And also I pray to God that I hope someday that God can help me on a good path for me trying to continue on navigating society. The reason why I'm trying my best to follow the good principles of being a good friend, a good person, and even trying to pray for others, it's because I'm simply just want to think of others, even if I can't do well in social settings or social media platforms or maintain friendships or connecting with other people. In society today, there has been many conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is not an easy thing for me to understand or to navigate it in a society as a person with a disability. There have been many times where many institutions, social groups, or people who are DEI certifiers would not want to include people with disabilities into the conversation or willing to address the concerns about the important issue. There are also times I would ask questions when I would attend a lecture about DEI and why aren't people with disabilities included in this conversation, or if I struggle on understanding this terminology. This has led to many other people would even judge me even further for simply just trying to understand the subject, or sometimes get ridiculed for asking this question about why people with disabilities aren't included in this conversation. I am trying to understand this term where I would do a lot of research, take modules, listen to TED Talks talking about this subject, and I would study many civil rights activists or leaders where they would talk about ways to have inclusion, diversity, and equity, and ways to combat against discrimination. I even taken a module of culture of respect where I tried to learn about the importance of trying to accept other people from different backgrounds or different skills or different sexual orientation or the disability, along with the importance of reducing harassment, including bullying. It is not easy doing this because I still get bullied by many people who struggle with a disability in a society, and there are times where too many people have different views about DEI. But I try to do what I can to learn about the subject to help me. I'm trying to be a better ally for the people who come from different backgrounds or different skills, to understand myself as a human being with a disability who is different from others. And I want to be a good example of me. I want to be a good person and to show that people with disabilities are good people. I'm doing the best as I can to accept others despite many challenges. To be honest, it is hard for me to admit that I struggle with women, including girls, because it is very embarrassing for me to talk about this. For a very long time in the past, including currently, I have dealt many times where men would tease me for wanting to have a connection with a girl because they would make fun of me for having a disability and tell me that girls wouldn't like somebody with a disability. There are also times where women, including girls, would make fun of me for wanting to connect with them because I struggle with a disability, or if I struggle with social cues, or if I couldn't meet a woman, including girls, standards. I've experienced on getting bullied and being put down by women, including girls, about having a disability, how I struggle in social cues, or if I can't meet their standards, or if they think that I look ugly, and if they call me mean names like retard, slowpoke, or fat ass because they think that I am fat. Inside of myself, I feel hurt, confused, and scared and guilt. I ask myself, what is wrong with me? When I think to myself about what is wrong with me, I think that I think the best thing that I can think of is maybe I come off too strong. Like sometimes if I want to have a conversation with a girl, it can make them uncomfortable. Sometimes I struggle on understanding social cues because I don't know how to have a good conversation with a girl, or I worry if a girl will even dislike me even further. Maybe I message, or maybe I want to have a phone call too much because I want to be a good person for them. And maybe I wanted to continue my friendship with them. Maybe I don't look good in front of them, and many others. I try my hardest to think of what my intentions are for women, including girls. Here is the best thing that I can say. I want women, including girls, to feel okay. I want to treat them as human beings. I want them to feel comfortable about who they are and to remind them that I am not here to judge them. I'm thinking of good thoughts, including positive vibes for them when there are struggles or if they make achievements. Also, when it comes to beautiful, I don't like to view them by how they look. I basically focus on their personality. Like if they're kind, compassionate, creative, or they're very creative at doing different content. It really inspires me as a person with a disability. Also, my other intentions for women, including girls, is that I am a strong supporter of women's rights. I believe that they should have the right to choose, have equal pay, not face any forms of discrimination based on their gender, and not deal with harassment and have the right to choose their own health decisions. I know that these are good intentions, that I have brought up, but it's not easy because it is hard for me to communicate, or it is rejected by many of them, or sometimes I get even teased even further. I have dealt with the harassment for women, including girls, about having a disability, or how they would use some feminism, or sometimes they use the Me Too movement as a way to bully somebody with a disability. I have to be careful to address this because I don't want people to think that I'm against women, including girls. I am trying to figure out how I can best navigate these situations. What I've done is I have taken free courses or attend lectures in my hometown, Ann Arbor, Michigan, about how to reduce sexual harassment, including bullying, or how to understand feminism issues better. I've also done research on trying to understand feminism movement as a way for me to understand how I can be a better ally to women's rights, or how to understand women's issues better. And I've continued to learn about many famous individuals or influential women that have worked hard to make a difference in society. I do this as a way for me to work on critical thinking skills and to even try to remind myself that there are some women, including some girls, that want to make a difference. Navigating a work environment is not easy. I have worked in the food service industry for about 11 years and currently. It's a challenge for me as a person with a disability. The reason why I struggle working in this job setting is because I struggle on doing tasks or figure out how to do tasks efficiently in a fast paced environment. This big struggle causes many other coworkers to bully me, calling me mean names, or get easily frustrated at me when I struggle. Also, there are times when I'm struggling at doing a task and many other coworkers don't want to help me out. Inside of myself, I feel hurt when people in the workplace get mad at me for struggling on pace issues or if I need extra help. What I think is wrong with me is that when I struggle doing tasks in a fast paced environment, it makes other people get mad at me because they have to help me out, or we fall behind at doing a task in a busy, fast paced environment. Also, another challenge of being in this food service industry is that I can lose a job due to no fault of my own. When businesses close, or business gets slow, or if they don't do well, or when management changes, they can let me go at any time. What I've done is I've tried my best and tried to work on developing good strategies as the best as I can in this work setting. I have worked on paying attention to how other coworkers work when they are doing a task to help give me an insight on how I can better perform a task. I would ask a boss or a manager who I feel comfortable talking to ask them what are the best ways for me to multitask better, or what can I improve myself on these tasks. I use creativity along with critical thinking to learn how to do tasks better or how I can multitask. It is not doing these approaches because there are many times other coworkers or people in the job might not be happy with me for struggling, even though I try my best to be a hard worker or to better improve myself. Being a volunteer in society is a challenge for me. I've been a volunteer in the past, including currently, and doing different things like helping others, helping feed homeless people, including people who are low income, helping out in the food bank or in the soup kitchen, and many other volunteering things. It is a challenge for me as a volunteer with a disability because I struggle with pace issues when I'm trying to do a task efficiently in a fast paced setting, where it can cause some volunteers or people who I'm trying to help get mad at me. When I deal with these meanness or the bulliness from other volunteers or people who I'm trying to help, I feel hurt inside with guilt. I keep asking myself, what is wrong with me? What could I have done better? When I think of what maybe I did wrong was that maybe I couldn't be fast enough on a certain task where it requires other volunteers to help me out. Maybe I don't know how to understand different situations when other people needed help, but I couldn't easily comprehend and understanding them. I go back and I try to think of how I can find ways to better navigate or to improve myself with volunteering. I work on creativity with critical thinking skills to try to help me understand the best as I can on different situations or how I can help other people. For example, when I do the Friday night volunteering, I try to pay attention to how long the line is and count how many bags of groceries do I have, where I can give myself an insight of knowing how many bags I can give out to each people. If I feel like I can give out second bags to homeless people or people who are low income, I would politely address saying that wait 10 to 15 minutes, I can provide you with a second bag. To be honest, there are times where it's not always easy because you can't help everybody in need. Or sometimes all the volunteers have different personalities, or if they are frustrated with me for struggling. But all I can try to tell myself is that I'm a person who wants to help others, but be creative with critical thinking and will help make me a unique volunteer and even a human being who wants to good things. I don't like to be open about being an Asian American with a disability because I deal with the hardships from my own community and from other people, including some of my other friends. There are times where people will say, "You don't look like you're Asian American. You're not really Asian American because you struggle with a disability." If I can't meet their expectations, or if I struggle with social cues, or if I'm not perfect. I have dealt many times where there were some Asians, including some Asian Americans, would bully me and put me down for being different in social groups or in gatherings. Also, there are times where they would make fun of me for being interested in learning about Asian culture or being interested in Asian stuff. And myself, I keep thinking to myself, what did I do wrong? Maybe I was socially awkward in these social groups, or maybe I was too overly confident about being an Asian American despite my disability. I had to change my approach. I avoid social groups, including gatherings that were filled with Asians or Asian Americans, to avoid being bullied. Keep myself distance from other Asian American friends. And when people would ask me of what race I was, I would just say I'm a mixed race. Also, to comfort me when I deal with getting bullied or being put down by some Asian Americans or some Asians, I spend time watching Disney Mulan, randomly watching some Korean drama or Chinese drama to remind myself that it's okay to be awkward sometimes, but it's okay for me to be creative and to treat myself out to some Korean barbecue or Panda Express. Also, whenever I go to Los Angeles, I like to explore Chinatown, including Koreatown, to just have fun, but be creative and enjoying learning about the culture. Being a Christian my whole life and currently is a challenge and hard for me to navigate with a disability. In the past and currently, I have experienced on being bullied and being put down by people who are very religious, also along with some of my Christian friends, for starting with a disability, or if I don't want to use Jesus' philosophy for hateful things. Inside of myself, I feel a lot of guilt and shame and confusion. What is wrong with me? Why are people who are very religious or some of my Christian friends are mad at me for simply struggling with a disability, or if I don't want to follow Jesus Christ's philosophies? Jesus Christ's good philosophies. I have to admit that maybe it's because I'm socially awkward or different from others. Maybe I am openly trying to express how I want to follow Jesus Christ's good philosophies, and which makes a lot of other people or some people around me get mad at me. I have to make it to change myself for the better. I have to tell myself that I shouldn't have to sacrifice on giving up Jesus Christ's good philosophies, especially his philosophies on supporting social justice, human rights, including the rights of people with disabilities. I have distanced myself from churches, social groups, and from some of my Christian friends because they were mean at me and putting me down. I work hard at trying to think to myself, what is Jesus Christ's philosophy means to me? And what my answer is that Jesus Christ is a supporter of human rights, including the rights of people with disabilities, his advocacy for social justice policies, universal health care to help many people who struggle with pre existing conditions or who can't afford health insurance get the help they need, helping the poor or disadvantaged to make sure they get help or the care they need, having comprehensive criminal justice reform to help protect people's rights while reduce crime, having comprehensive immigration reform to help immigrants, including refugees or dreamers, be protected from oppressive countries or from oppressive, and protect our environment from pollution, and practice the compassion, including understanding of people who have struggles in life. I know these types of philosophies that Jesus Christ believes, including God, does good and makes sense, but other people don't think that way too. I have to do is to be creative and how I want to continue Jesus' philosophies. Like I'll do research about Pope Francis, Moses, Buddha, Muhammad, and even Jesus Christ's philosophies to help me try to be a person who wants to be on a good path or continuing my interest in social justice policies without having to give up being a Christian. I like to listen to gospel music as a way for me to understand the symbolisms or messages about compassion, kindness, understanding, wanting to help the poor or disadvantaged, accepting others who are different or who struggle with a disability. I listen to gospel music on a daily basis because I want to find connection with it, even if I can't connect with others, when other people don't want to appreciate me for simply just trying to be a good Christian with a disability. I also pray to God, even every day to Jesus. I honestly tell them that I'm struggling with my disability in my life. I deal with times that I actually make mistakes, or I simply just don't know how I can be a better improvement for myself. I deal with the harshness from other people for struggling with my disability, or that I'm different from others, or if I can't meet their standards. But I try my best to tell God or Jesus that I'm trying to work hard to be a better human being with good intentions or doing good things, even though I struggle with my disability, or when other people get mean at me. I try my best to use critical thinking to understand different situations or to learn things or to even understand how to do tasks efficiently. Continuously try my hardest to see good in people or to be compassionate for people who struggle in life or they try to make good achievements or they simply just trying to get by. Also, my prayers, I try to say that I want to pray for a world to be a better place for me, including people with disabilities. And I want people to learn the importance of kindness and compassion, including understanding and how people should get help when they struggle with poverty or health issues or if they struggle in life. I've always tried to have a balance in my prayers because I want to find a way of healing myself during my challenges, but also try to think of others. Social media platforms have always been a big struggle for me to navigate or to understand it. These platforms are very difficult for me because I deal with getting bullied and even being put down by many people who I'm connected with for just struggling and just trying to be creative or if I'm different from other people. Also, I deal with getting hateful messages on social media platforms, where it's mostly about teasing me for having a disability, how I'm struggling for being different from other people, despite my best on trying to be a creative person, including being a human being. I am trying to navigate or if I'm trying to navigate society, or if I struggle with positivity. Inside of myself, I feel hurt and confused. Why do people judge me harshly on social media platforms where they don't judge other people harshly? Also, when it comes to these platforms, I try my hardest to make sure that I am not a controversial person or that I am not an angry person when there are people who will say mean things or they make bad things on social media platforms. I try my best to stay away from it, or sometimes I may express concerns saying that I am uncomfortable on how you say mean things on these platforms. There is no real solution about navigating social media platforms. I have to work on expanding on critical thinking skills with creativity as the best as I can do when I deal with these challenges on trying to navigate these platforms. I try to be creative, but mixed with a balance, saying that I have dealt with hard times, but here are the things that I'm trying to do better to improve myself. Limit how much screen time I use on social media platforms. Reduce how much I post to help protect myself. And I always think of good thoughts, including positive vibes for many people who are on these platforms to do well in life or if they struggle. I work on doing an approach where I'll switch to messaging or even using a phone, text, or email or WhatsApp as a form of communication because I get very anxious on social media platforms. It is hard for me to communicate with people when I try to tell people that I'm not comfortable on talking on social media platforms because I don't feel safe or I get teased a lot. When I try to communicate this with people about why I don't feel comfortable on social media platforms or communication, or if I want to use a phone, text, or email or WhatsApp, I get put down when many people call me a creep or a weirdo. Inside of myself, all I can do is simply to tell myself that I'm trying to find ways to better improve myself, to find ways to make sure I'm safe, and find better ways where I can use different platforms to communicate if I don't feel safe on social media platforms. And when it comes to people who have to rely on these social media platforms, all I can simply just do is try the best as I can to understand how to communicate on messaging to these platforms, or simply just tell myself that people should have the open audacity to communicate on different ways instead of being heavily relied on social media platforms. Exercising at the gym is a challenge for me because I deal with getting bullied by other members at the gym or when they get fitness aggressive at me for struggling, including if I struggle with pace issues. Inside of myself, after I ask myself, what is wrong with me? What I have come to realize is that I am a slow person at doing a workout because I struggle with pace issues, or I'm simply just trying to figure out how I can do a workout efficiently. Also, there are people who get impatient with me if I take too long of a time working out on the machine, or if I'm simply just walking on a track, or if I'm swimming at a slow or medium pace in a pool. Sometimes when I struggle with this, other people get fitness aggressive. Sometimes they yell at my face, call me a retard or slowpoke, or sometimes say things that are uncomfortable. Any situation, I have to use critical thinking as a way for me to figure out how I can navigate myself in these situations and feeling okay about going to the gym without dealing with people being too aggressive or being mean at me. What I try to do is I try to pay attention to how busy the gym is to give myself a sense of idea on how long I should do a workout or what other exercises I can do if there's too many people, or try to pay attention to people's body language to see if they're fitness aggressive. I try to be creative at doing different workouts, like maybe walk a little bit on the track, maybe do a little jump roping, Maybe switch my workout routines to avoid other people being impatient with me. I go early in the morning or certain days to give myself extra time to do a workout without worrying about having to deal with the aggression. Whenever a gym is too busy or I don't feel comfortable with people being fitness aggressive, all I can simply just do is to give myself extra social distance. Don't say anything back to them because sometimes if they want me to be provoked, all I can do is maybe 15 to 30-minute workout and call it a day. I have to tell myself that it's okay if I'm slow at doing a workout and that I am not perfect. All people struggle with workouts, or maybe they aren't perfect at exercising. I even have to remind myself that it's okay that I'm trying to be creative and how to do a workout or how to be motivated to develop important techniques to improve myself in exercising. And I shouldn't have to feel ashamed by struggling or if people get mad at me, but also just try to be mindful of other people that I'm around. Learning has never been easy for me because of my disability. It affects my cognitive abilities on learning things. I struggle on comprehending on advanced subjects. I have difficulty on following what conversations people have. When watching TV, movies, or TV shows, or simply just reading a passage or reading books, I can't even process information that well. In my mind, I feel like things are floating around because I'm spending time trying to figure out how to organize my thoughts or how I can better understand subjects at a better pace. I've always struggled with learning ever since I was young in school, including currently out of school. I was made fun of my whole entire life for struggling and learning. There are times where many people call me retard or stupid or jackass or other words just because I had challenges. I have worked on trying to be creative on how I learn. For example, when it comes to trying to learn literature book, I listen to audiobooks, including looking on Spark Notes or Wikipedia as a way for me to try to understand what the passage of the book is about or who are the characters are in the book. When it comes to trying to understand movies or TV shows or documentaries, it is not always easy because there is a lot of plot twists or information that is hard to understand. Sometimes it's hard to understand the story, or sometimes it's even harder to understand the characters in the movies or TV shows. I would always watch movies, including TV shows, with subtitles to help me try to process the information easy, or to understand the conversations better, or to even expand on knowledge. Whenever I feel like I can't understand a movie or TV show, I listen to recaps of them on YouTube, where I can listen to someone narrating what it is about, or explain who are the characters, or the messages, or even if there's a hidden Easter egg in these movies or superhero movies. Also, what I try to do to understand movies or TV show or superheroes is what I try to do is I sit with my computer or my iPad, pull it up Wikipedia so I could try to easily follow what it is about. Learning other issues like history, social justice, or even current events is always a big struggle because it is hard for me to process every information. Sometimes it is hard for me to understand the person's style of how they want to present the issue. Maybe the subject is so complicated that I easily get lost or confused. I work on trying to develop better methods to learn about these subjects. I watch talk shows with closed captions to help me understand different subjects or issues that we face, or or healthy lifestyles to help me learn. I use closed captions or subtitles when watching documentaries or watching certain current events, news or entertainment news, or healthy lifestyle news to help me process every information or to give me a sense of idea on what they are talking about. I sometimes listen to a podcast as a way for me to try to understand more insight about the subject, even though it could be a challenge for me because I struggle on trying to understand what people are saying without any closed captions. Also, reading things online, I struggle on trying to understand it because all the words are disorganized in my mind. Whatever I'm on the computer or even on an iPad, I will select the words online, including on Wikipedia, where I will have the computer read it back to me to help me understand what it is about. It is hard being in society because I have dealt too many times where many people, including peers and my friends, or even so called friends, would tell me that I am a lame person or a retard because have different hobbies or different interests. Well, I want to say what my hobbies and my interests are is I like learning history, including social justice, watching TV shows, including movies, playing video games, being creative with critical thinking, I'm learning different topics, and doing solo traveling. Learning history, including social justice, has helped me continue to understand about the importance of making human rights, including the rights of people with disabilities, stronger to reduce discrimination, protecting our environment from pollution, having a comprehensive criminal justice reform to help protect people while reduce crime, having universal health care to help people with pre-existing conditions or people who can't afford health insurance to get help, and many others. Also, learning history, I've always liked learning about famous people or different individuals ranging from women, minorities, people with disabilities, and immigrants who've worked really hard on trying to advocate for good ideas or work hard to overcome different struggles in life or when they want to make good achievements. I've always liked learning about famous people and these different influential individuals to try to help me um, learn more about famous people and what the work they have done, and also to help me motivate along with me to try to navigate society that is broken without having to give up many of my good principles that I have learned in life, or I like to remind myself that it is okay that I am unique from other people. Watching TV shows, including movies, has given me great comfort to see many actors and actresses make a difference in their activism in society or how they make their characters unique in certain ways. Playing video games like Red Dead Redemption 2, Life is Strange True Colors, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Hitman 2, including 3, and many other role playing games are fun for me. It gives me great comfort when I deal with getting rejected in society or if I get bullied when I struggle with a disability, but it also gives me a chance where I can take the time to be creative and understand how to navigate these games and to help give me more options to feel comfort for myself that I can do things when it's hard for me to do things in the real world. Critical thinking, also with creativity, has always been my biggest interest because it has helped me continue on finding ways to understand different subjects, learning how to understand different situations, develop or improve techniques on myself, on trying to understand tasks, and has helped me on trying to put myself in a good path. Critical thinking, along with creativity, is something that I've always learned ever since my speech therapist named Pam had helped me work on the skills. And I'm very proud to continue to use these things for a very long time, including currently. However, it can be a challenge on using critical thinking with creativity because sometimes it is hard for me to understand different advanced subjects, or it's hard for me to understand how to navigate many different difficult situations. Solo traveling, like going to Los Angeles, has helped me out. I wanted to find ways where I can feel comfortable about going at an easy pace, where I can take my time to explore or to use public transportation like the metro system. to help me explore places without feeling like I have to rush a lot. Just trying, and also to feel okay. I'm trying to be a creative person and trying to enjoy some fun without being judged. In conclusion, I know many times when I try to say I'm trying my best or I'm working hard, it can make other people not want to be understanding, or even times people put me down. Also, it is hard to navigate a culture and society where it is a fast paced environment. You have to meet people's expectations, and if you don't, you get rejected, including being bullied. You have to present yourself as an upbeat person in front of many people, or else you be shamed. It is filled with anti disability stigma. Changing myself is a lot of work on for myself with critical thinking skills and trying to understand myself on how to navigate society, including the culture of it every year, every month, and every day. I know there are good people and bad people in society. However, there are times that good people just don't want to be appreciative or understanding of people with disabilities like me, or even me for trying to be the best as I can to be a good human being with good principles. In my whole entire life, including currently, I realized that friendships and being around people wasn't working that well too many times, where I get easily put down at being bullied and even other forms of harassment. I have to avoid being around too many people, but I try to be compassionate along with understanding when people have struggles in life. Social media platforms are harder to understand or to even navigate, but I have to tell myself that I have to create a healthy, balanced approach. I'm using these platforms not too much and trying to find other ways for better forms of communication. Also, I have to do the best as I can to expand on critical thinking skills to try to teach myself and how to be safe in society, how to be aware of my surroundings, how I can best improve myself in different situations. I have to tell myself almost all the time that it's okay if I struggle with social cues. It's okay if my disability is a challenge for me to understand. It's alright if I don't have so many friends in life. It's important to have critical thinking skills along with creativity of finding ways how to understand situations, to learn different things, develop while improvements on task, or to even understand different situations. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me to talk about the things that I'm trying to change, the things I'm trying to improve on, and what I'm trying to do better for society. Thank you.